Well, good morning and TGIT. Who all is going to work tomorrow? Excuse me, you have to bear with me. I have a little bit of a cold. I'll be muting myself quite a bit. I'm not sick or anything. It's just annoying as can be. I know a lot of people took the whole week off. Some are like, yeah, I think I'm just going to call it a 4-day weekend. Some are taking Tuesday off as well. So everybody got their shopping done. We're only 4 days away from Christmas. And that's hard to even think about. Seems like just last week we were talking about Christmas. I mean, literally, we were, but I mean, last Christmas. Let's see, who did I miss in the pre party? Hello, Angie Gibson. JTB's in the house. Boy, Mom, what's up, girlfriend? Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Fine Summer's Truth. Dawn, Grandma of 3, TCB. Hello, Aaron. Slim thought she heard Jules over on Dolly's channel. Were you moonlighting this morning, Jules? I said she probably was. Jules is a busy lady. Reminds me of one night I couldn't sleep and I was going through YouTube, see who was live, and a voice I recognized was talking to Chris McDonough and Josh from the lab, and it was our very good friend, Pat K. Oh, we talked about that in the members live the next day. It was funny. I mean, she did great, don't get me wrong. But, we've become friends. And as you're going through and you're like, now hang on, I recognize that voice. Jules said, no, ma'am, I've been asleep. Okay, Jules. Okay. And our friend Aggie is back. Woohoo! Aggie is on the mend and here to see everybody. Well, in the spirit of all, let's tell everyone happy Thursday. Welcome, ya neighbor. Going to be a great show. We have a lot of stuff to go over. I sent the link to our friend Trev, who, by the way, knocked it out of the park yesterday with the Ruby Frankie show. He was on it, spot on. And I sent a link to Brandy, so because she knows she's always welcome. Our living room always has a seat for Brandy and all of you, of course. Also, if you missed it yesterday, I premiered a video with my awesome editing skills. I'm quite the videographer. OJ and I have worked really hard on trying to learn this stuff. So go check it out because I've actually reached out to the woman that is the hero in the story. And I think she is going to come on the show to tell us more about what happened. If you guys are up for it, because I know that was, even though it was a short video, it was tough to get through. Okay, a couple of people are asking about OJ. He was doing good up until he heard the theme music, and it all went to hell from there. But he looked like a little Christmas angel this morning. Let me show you. He's into this bird watching show, and they were having a Christmas special, and he's glued to it. Now, I had to move the nativity scene. You're going to see his ass sitting on baby Jesus again. So I went ahead and I had to move it because I don't want my cat's ass on baby Jesus. So that was our morning until he heard the theme music. And, well, he decided to raise hell then. Radio Gaga, thank you. She said he was just trying to keep the baby Jesus warm. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. And for those of you that say, I need, this channel for my cat, obviously you're not talking about my channel. There it is. It's like 24 hours nonstop of birds and squirrels. OJ's not a fish person, but he loves the birds and squirrels. Okay, excuse me. All right, so let's get to it. Let's look at the comments from the last show. Y'all had a lot to say. Angie said, OJ loves baby Jesus. I wouldn't go that far. He still has quite a resentment since he didn't get to be baby Jesus in our church's nativity scene. I started to, play the race card and say, is it because he's black? But I knew that wouldn't really get me very far with him. So we just left it that they have an issue with cats being in the nativity scene. Let's bring up our friend Trevor, and then we're going to get to the comments. Good morning, Trevor. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you doing?
Oh, really good. I thought we were going to have an easy show with OJ, but he decided to start raising hell again. But that's okay. We'll get through it. Now, Trevor, are you all ready for the holiday? Have you got your shopping done? Have you all picked out what you're going to eat?
Oh, yeah, we're all ready. And I have some world famous barbecue sauce to enjoy as well.
There you go. Now, do you guys do like ham or beef or turkey? What do you normally do for your holiday?
We do turkey with Thanksgiving, so it's ham for Christmas.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, there's this channel, Matt Walsh, and sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't. But he is very, very funny, very dry. He's not like a ha, ha, ha type. It's like a very sarcastic, dry sense of humor. He has a fit every year about Thanksgiving. He says, you are not to serve macaroni and cheese. He goes, what are you for? He goes, what are people doing having salads at Thanksgiving? And what really gets him going is ham. He's like, no, it's only turkey. He's like, ham has Easter or Christmas. See, so there you go. You're doing it right.
There we go. I got approved by Matt Walsh. We're doing well today.
There we go. And that's a very hard approval to get. Well, let's get to the comments and start getting to the show. Okay, Barb, Idaho in summer. I guess we know where she vacations in the summer. Said, Sarah, it wasn't a prophet that consulted a medium, Sarah. It was King Saul. A prophet is one with a direct message from God to tell the people. You said God told you Stacy did it. If you believe Christ died for your sins, that salvation requires, in all caps, repentance. Sincere repentance. Now, we spoke last week about how she has these meltdowns. We're going to talk about it again for a little bit today on her TikToks. Stuck in the mud. Jesus loves me. Jesus loves me. I don't deserve Jesus' love. She does all that stuff. But then when she has to go meet the judge, she's defiant, she lies, and she's almost rude. What do you think about that, Trev?
Yeah, the wheels on the bus aren't exactly going round and round up there.
Mm-mm. That's why I don't think she's quite as crazy as she wants to put on. Reason being is because she is articulate enough to manipulate. Are you buying the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs routine?
No, it's all a stunt. I would almost guarantee it because she can turn it on and off.
Because she damn sure turned it off for the judge. But then we ramped it up, and she had to go to a mental health facility for a while until they said, get her out, get Grimace out of here. Get the Mucinex booger out of here. She's fine. She's fine. Thank you, Christina Art, for the super sticker. And thank you, Angel, for gifting the Crime Lines and Lies memberships. 'Tis the season, y'all. Turn your gifts on. Prayers 134 said the little girl could tell them if there was a little boy in their house. Maybe show her pictures of 4 little boys, different ones. And obviously one would be Michael. And pick the one she saw. And of course, put Monkey's picture with the 4. And if she happened to see Monkey, because she did go to that house, she could tell him. Now, I don't like it when kids get interviewed. It breaks my heart for them. Kids go through enough. But I think this is actually a really good idea, because we saw that TikTok last week where that little girl kept going to the Ring camera looking for Stacey. And hopefully, law enforcement did make contact with that girl's family and talk to her and say, did you happen to see any other children around there? What do you think, Trev?
Yeah, that's always a tricky one. I think that it definitely would be good for them to talk to her. It's just got to be certain ways you do it, because, and I'm sure they obviously know how to do this, but because kids' stories will change and they can be influenced very easily. I mean, you ask them the question the wrong way, you lead a question at all, and that answer doesn't hold much weight anymore.
No, I think what I read, I can't remember where it was. I mean, it was a reputable source. It wasn't like People magazine. But it said when it comes to interviewing children, you can do one interview. If you continue interviewing, power of suggestion comes in.
Yeah, it's the same thing if you're talking to a kid that comes to you about abuse or neglect, like as a mandated reporter. You have to let them tell the story. You can't lead questions. You can't be like, well, did they do this or this? Like, I mean, you have to let them say it, and then you can confirm it once they say it. But if you go and suggest things, you will lead them into answers that aren't always true.
Yes, I agree. That's why I've always wondered about with the Summer Wells case, if Candace didn't get a hold of those boys first, and so whatever interview they had just wasn't going to work. I mean, I don't know. Because I know in other cases, like Athena Brownfield, they had a forensic child psychologist speak to Adina, and she spit it all out. This is what's going on. Well, it didn't take much of an investigation to figure out she was telling the truth. I look at the case. I'm not going to say the little girl's name because her identity is protected, but her mother is Morgan Keene. Her stepfather is Argelio Pupo. And at the age of like 6 or 7, her mother was teaching her about sex, and Argelio was the teacher, to the point that she had some damage downstairs, and her mother took her to Target, bought a sewing kit, and stitched her up herself. Now, in that case, unless I read wrong, Argelio will not take a plea agreement. I can't imagine. And so the little girl had to testify.
Jeez. Sick stuff.
It is sick. Damn sick. Okay, Prayers 134 had a lot to say. She also said, this sounds like a child. And it is a child. It's plain you can hear it. I would check it out again. So let's listen to that TikTok again. And you tell me what you hear towards the end. Is this, do you hear a child in the background? Not saying that it's Michael. Not saying that it's Michael. But do you hear a child?
I haven't finished my testimony yet. There's still a lot more because I've been out of prison for 4 years. And I've gotten married since then and had a lot of drama in my marriage since then. And we've overcome a lot of things together through the Lord that I don't think most marriages for people my age would overcome without God. Definitely not without God. But I believe in Jesus because of the overwhelming testimony of the times he's showed up in my own personal life, but also because of his word. I have read and studied his word, and I realize that it's so irrefutable. There's nothing that contradicts each other. I've also had many times, had plenty of arguments, or, well, I wouldn't call them arguments, maybe debates with atheists, and nothing they say makes sense. Like, for instance, the Big Bang Theory. I mean, just look at a flower. If you look at a flower, it is so intricate. There's just, even just a flower, that's one of the simplest things I would think is so intricate that there's just no way in the world that that became a flower without divine intervention. I mean, no two flowers are the same. No two snowflakes are the same. No two persons' fingerprints are the same, even if they're twins. No, I mean, there's literally fossils of ocean fish and stuff in the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean? I mean, there's just so much evidence.
She's nuts. Okay. And I don't mean in a clinical way. She just drives me up the wall. If you look at the reflection in her glasses, because last week a lot of you screenshotted it, it looks like a man in the door. And this man is not Stacy's size. I'm going to assume it's Brandon.
Scientifically, that God does exist. That if God does exist, how can we take his word and not give it some, merit? I mean, nothing can be disproved. The Bible's been written by 66 authors over a period of 4,000 years, and all of them didn't know each other, and none of them contradict each other. Not one. Because, that's normal. No.
Okay, let's go right there. I'm going to go back just a little bit, and you can hear it. Now, mind you, she's giving her testimony. She's on her soapbox. She'll talk all day about her testimony and her love for Jesus and why she believes in Jesus and her, meeting of the minds with all these atheists, as if any of that happened. But she shuts it down. What was the noise that made her stop her oh so impressive testimony about her belief in Jesus? You be the judge.
Not to mention, just all the plain evidence.
Did you hear it, Trev?
Yeah, I did.
So many people have reached out and they're like, that sounds just like a child. Before I get to it, our friend Zach Walker is in here. He is our resident fisherman. Yes, he is. And today is his birthday. Let's give a big happy birthday shout out to our friend Zach. Sounds like a child to me. But I have a feeling law enforcement with their skills have combed through this a lot. They have a little better equipment than we do around here. Leah, she said at 2 hours, 41 seconds, we'll look at it, because I love when you guys give me a timestamp. She said, Brandon said, did this and that. He gave great detail about getting a sandwich, blah, blah, blah. unimportant, detailed information, but skips that part by saying this and that. I'm betting this and that was an important part of the story. Me too, because we have detail, and then it's like, oh, then did this and that. Then did this and that. She goes on to say, went to the gas station and got some milk. She said, who drinks milk? Who was the milk for? He even mentioned filling a water bottle and then talks about milk. Everything at gas stations are expensive. Why not go to a grocery store since they're running around town anyway? Is it because it was urgent? Needed milk all of a sudden? ASAP? Why is that? What do you think, Trev?
Yeah, no, I fully believe that the milk was for him. That whole story of their day does not make any sense, and I think it was a day of many lies and secrets.
100%. And I love how she pointed this out. The this and that, after giving such detail about everything else, then it's suddenly this and that. So was the this and that the abduction? Was the this and that the planning? Was the this and that driving around looking for a child? Leah, I agree with her. She said, I'd like to hear that jail call and see if he indeed asked to borrow a car or if it was about something else. Now, this is in regards to Carson, who just goes to work and barely knows anybody in the neighborhood. But he did mention that he bought a car from the Wanderers. He did mechanic work for them. He did taxi drives for them. He was asked to look after their house when they were on vacation. And he got a call from Stacy when he first went to jail wanting to borrow a car. I'm with Leah. I would love to hear that call and see what it's really about. It could be I hope you're not talking to anybody while I'm in here. What are you going to do if the police come to see you? Would you not love to hear that call? I wonder if we could do a FOIA and get that.
It may say sealed out because of the open investigation, but it would just depend.
The investigation's open with Michael. Stacy's already served his sentence for what he was in jail for when he made the call. That's the only difference I can see. But I see what you're saying.
Well, if it has anything that besides what they say, then it may be kept as evidence as far as Michael's case. If it has any kind of conversation on it outside of, can I borrow a car?
Okay, so this is the timestamp she's talking about where he said this and that.
Milk, and then did this and that and came back. And then right when we got back, Carson had his pickup next door with a light bar on it. So I said, hey, we need to start this up and kind of go look in the neighborhood and the farmer field and the river. We got to go find this missing person report that just came out,
There's a lot in that paragraph. There's a lot. We did this. We had to go to the gas station and get some milk. Then did this and that. Then we have to find this missing persons report. Yeah, he stepped in it big time. Big time. Nothing, if someone isn't making any sense or they're giving you frivolous detail, 9 times out of 10, they have something to hide.
Yeah, people talk in circles to draw away from the critical subject. If you start talking about smaller things and just wrap it around a bigger thing, then suddenly it doesn't seem as big.
Well, and those people that talk, just to have something to say. Now, obviously, he has a lot of reasons to try to talk himself out of this.
Yeah. I think that's what it is it's talking in circles to to avoid talking about what actually matters.
Because we've seen it in other cases where they're, trying to cover up. They don't want to answer the pertinent questions. If they answered the pertinent questions, these things wouldn't take so long. Now, would they?
No.
Everything would be open and shut. All right. So hopefully Brandon is tuning in today or catches it on the replay. Don't forget, Brandon, we have memberships. If you'd like to become a member, we have a lot of fun in the members' lives, don't we, Trev?
Oh, absolutely. Even some fun trivia.
We have some fun trivia. Yeah, Brandon, become a member. Come on. It doesn't mean you're going to wear pink on Wednesdays or sit with us, but come on in. So here is a plea from Brandy to the suspects. Brandon, you're going to hear your name.
No, I know. I just. Ugh. It is 819 days. And Brandon, you know what happened to our beautiful baby. Whether you were directly involved, but you know. You need to start talking. You need to come forward. Quit lying, quit hiding. Please tell us where Michael is. Let our family have some rest, please. Let us bring our baby home. We've worked tirelessly, endlessly. Law enforcement. Stop protecting these criminals. And I will say this out loud. Your mama doesn't live too far from me. So I'd like to meet her in person and see if she'd like to talk to me face to face. Because I know that there are flyers all over the area where she lives. It's time to tell the truth. It's time to own up. It's time to find Michael and bring him home and stop your BS. Same with you, Adrian, because I know you're watching as well.
Thank you, Your Honor. My next witness.
Doesn't that hurt just a little bit, Brandon? Adrian? Stacy, you guys are all out. There's no doubt that you are following this case immensely. I can see when Brandon sees my messages. And they're always nice. I'm not harassing them. I would never do that. I'm giving him a chance to speak. I even asked old Tina what she was doing for Thanksgiving. And I'm not giving any sympathy to Brandon, Adrian, Stacy, or Sarah. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and they're not going to like it. Clear your conscience. Stop being this religious hypocrite talking about how Jesus died for your sins, and you act like that's it. Doesn't matter what I do. Doesn't matter what I do. Jesus paid the bill. Jesus paid the bill. Don't worry about it. Okay, doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. It takes sincere repentance. Here we are. We're coming up on Christmas. It's just a few days away. Michael has presents under the tree. Yes, he does. How do you think it makes his family feel when everyone opens up their presents, but there's 5 or 6 gifts under the tree, and he's not there to open them up? I go back to what Brandy said on a show one day. How could you? How could you? Now, I am not saying that this is related to the case of Michael Vaughan, but I want to go through it with you guys. This piece of crap, his name is John Marshall Randolph. Roughly a week after Michael was abducted in a town not too far away from Fruitland, this jerk-off tried to abduct a child. But some employees of this resort believed the child, and they started making phone calls. This little boy was swimming at Independence Point, and this guy on the screen approached him trying to say he was his dad, tried to take him parasailing. Well, it gets worse. It gets worse. Now, I have not found any connection between this guy and Sarah and Stacy, Brandon, or Adrian, but he does have a connection to someone they have a connection with. I'm not going to look too much into that because we know how Facebook works. Sometimes we don't even know who we're friends with on Facebook, or how it webs out. But I thought that was pretty interesting.
So she kind of freaked out and said, "Where's my mom? You're not my dad."
What's mom's name?
Might be Isis, might be Katrina.
You're trying to get a kid to come with you somewhere that is not where his parents are. That's not acceptable here or anywhere.
But he said hi, and I said, "Do I know you?"
Yeah, the kid was probably just very confused.
Are you attracted to kids?
Well, they're beautiful creatures. Yeah, I'm attracted to kids.
You are?
You're being detained.
He flat out just told the officer he's attracted to kids. He's attracted to kids. Avi said, and the way he and Brandon say the kid is very similar. Avi and I had a long conversation about that one day when someone just says the kid or the boy. They can't use a name or any sort of like descriptive feature. This is disgusting. Hey, Trev, are you catching this?
Yeah, it dropped me off, but I'm back now.
Okay. Now, remember, roughly a week after Michael was abducted, this man in a town not that far away from Fruitland tried to abduct a child. A boy.
Figure out what's going on. Okay, perfect. That's a good idea. Thank you.
On Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021, a parent's worst nightmare shockingly comes to life when a strange man tries to lure a 10-year-old child onto a nearby boat. Terrified, the young girl attempts to flee from the man and approaches a few employees working at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, parasailing. The child quickly hides behind the workers and shakily tells them of the horrifying ordeal, to which the owner, Benjamin Rodriguez, discreetly dials 911. However, the disturbing nightmare is far from over, as police soon come face to face with their deranged suspect, who will go on to make one of the most shocking confessions ever caught on tape. When authorities arrive on the scene, Benjamin frantically makes his way to an officer, wasting no time in divulging the twisted tale.
This girl that's over there, the girl's crying, coming up to us saying this guy's trying to take her. This guy claims it's his daughter. The girl was not going with it. Where's over another booth with another officer? With my partner? Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know. Another officer. So I'm getting the picture of this guy's trying to take her. So I'm like, well, let's go try to find a parent. Right. All right. So I'm walking, trying to play along because I know it's like not adding up. So we head over to the grass because he's like, I'm good. I can go. So he goes to some random girl. Okay. That's the kid's mom. Hey, miss, are you missing a kid? No, I don't know the kid.
Okay, we say all the time on this channel, see something, say something. Thank you for that, Aaron. Aaron said, I love EWU. Yes, this is their body cam footage. I guess they did a FOIA. I don't know. Please subscribe to their channel. They do great work. We just did the premiere of the video yesterday, spoke about a woman named Doris that knew something was up with this family, knew something was up, particularly with one of the children. Digging deeper into it, they realized her suspicions were spot on. The kids had never been to school. The kids had never been to the doctor. And some of their siblings were from SA between their father and stepsister. Well, Doris wasn't having it. Just like this guy's like, if it doesn't smell right, I'm getting it out of the fridge. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the case of Monkey, considering Brandon was all about finding a missing persons report, I have a feeling nobody saw. Nobody was around, or else we wouldn't be sitting here. Candy Prim, thank you for the super sticker. She said, you sound like you have a cold, Brooks. I do, but I will live. I will definitely live. It's just annoying more than anything. But I kind of have a Demi Moore voice, do I not, when I have a cold? Anyone find my dialect a little extra sexy today? Jules isn't answering. Yes, it's a great channel.
Jules is chasing the propane man.
Well, I don't tell you, but I gotta go. And I'm like, no, buddy, I'm with you here. You know, I'm not leaving here. I'm trying to take this girl, and the girl came to us, trying to get away from this. What's the mom look like? Oh, I forget. Okay. So how do you know the mom? I'm her husband. Well, we haven't been married in 3 years. We're not quite married. We're not actually going to get married, but we might. And it's like this freaking loose ends, man.
Officers quickly learn that the man in question is 42-year-old John Marshall Randolph. As they approach their suspect, it's blatantly clear that absolutely nothing is adding up. However, their questions will be answered soon enough.
How did you come across the child? You said she was down there by the parasail, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, take your hands out of your pockets for me. Thank you. I don't know. I had a friend shot in the face because somebody had their hands in their pockets. So, you know, we can continue this, or you can pay attention to what I'm asking you and telling you. Okay. Thank you. Now, you came across a child down by the parasailing thing, right? So what happened next?
I don't remember.
You don't remember. Okay. Have you been drinking today?
Does that sound familiar? When someone's being questioned about something, well, that didn't happen that far long ago. OJ, go back in there and watch your birds. I'm not in the mood for this today. I don't remember. This guy was caught red-handed.
On camera, too.
On camera. I don't remember. And look at old boy standing behind him with his hands on his hips. If the officer wasn't there, I have a feeling he'd whip the dog shit out of him.
Oh, he'd put him in the water.
Because he looks like if the police weren't there, he would give him a different type of justice.
No.
You took her, or you brought her to somebody.
I didn't bring her. She was running down by herself.
Right down by herself, okay.
Yeah, and we came up here and she was down in the docks still, I thought she was still in the docks, but I don't know. He says that she's not. Where did you see her?
I'm going to be able to mail it
To us.
parking lot by the beach.
Came up to us.
So you took the child to the parasailing people?
No. The child ran down there.
Okay. So how did you get involved in this?
I just saw the child run down there.
Okay. Did you try and stop the child or anything?
The child just ran down there. She said I was, well, I remember saying I'm her dad because that's true.
You're the child's dad?
Yeah, she hasn't seen me in a very long time.
Okay.
So I apologize. But we're supposed to do a visitation with her mom and see the kid, you know? And so it was like the first time seeing her in a long time. And so she kind of freaked out and said, "Where's my mom? You're not my dad. I'm sorry." It probably wasn't the best way to like have a first visitation, but she found her mom and on the grass over there, and he saw that. Yeah, the kid was probably just very confused.
Despite John's explanation for his disturbing actions, he will soon twist his words into another attempt at clearing his name. However, police are about to learn that John is not who he claims to be. In fact, he's hiding a most disgusting secret, and he won't be able to conceal it for much longer.
Just out of curiosity, why would you just show up and be like, "Hey, I'm your dad"?
You know, she exchanged, like I met her by the parking bench over there.
Okay. So you met her over there, and the kid was there. And can you take your hands out of your pocket for me, please?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. That's all right. And then when you met her and the child, who's the mom, actually? What's mom's name?
Might be Isis, might be Katrina.
Okay, so he thinks he's funny. For one, it's a little boy, not a little girl. I'm the dad, hasn't seen me in a long time. Well, then how did you know that's your child? Children change fast. You can run into an adult you haven't seen in 10 years and you're going to recognize them. Children, So, lie. And you're not the dad. So, smartass here. What's the mom's name? Could be Isis. Could be Katrina. Get real. I swear, I would have let old boy standing back there with his hands on his hips just start whipping him.
Might be Mary.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Was the little girl with you over there when you contacted them at the bench?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so did she take off running at that point?
Yeah.
Okay. And then she ran. That's when she ran down the dock there.
Yeah.
Okay, John. Right now, I'm going to detain you.
Okay.
All right. You're not under arrest at this point, but you are being detained.
Okay. So we figure out what's going on. Okay, perfect. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Fun fact. He's sitting there toying with the cops. Guess what his profession is, Trev? The pedo. Guess what his profession is?
What?
He's a lawyer.
Not for long.
Oh, actually, he's still practicing. It gets sicker.
Oh.
Yep. You can still practice law with a misdemeanor. I'm probably skipping ahead.
John is oddly chipper for being detained, and his strange demeanor makes for an all the more disturbing investigation. However, this would only be amplified when police have a chance to speak with the victim, who turns out to actually be a 10-year-old boy, despite what John claims. It's heartbreaking to hear the child relive the traumatic experience.
Basically, he was over there and I was jumping off the dock and getting back on, and he was talking to my brother, and I don't know what they were saying, but he said hi, and I said, do I know you? And he said something about me growing super fast, like he saw me when I was a baby, and he said he grew super slow, and then he high-fived me, and we were walking down, and he said he owned all those boats, and then he wanted me to go on boating with him, and then he wanted to do the parasail with me. And then I went to these people, and he also said that he was my mom's husband, and I was his son. And then he said something about like be together for a million years.
Did the guy say anything to you, dude? What did he say?
He just kept on calling me. He literally let me pick what name he was going to talk about.
The two brothers were swimming near the docks at Independence Point in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, when John creepily began to talk to the children. But the brave 10-year-old immediately knew what to do and quickly asked for help from Benjamin and his employees. Here, Benjamin gives a detailed recollection of those shocking moments captured by the security camera.
The kid and that dude.
Yep.
This kid's trying to get help. This dude's trying to convince him to not get help, right? So we're winding up for the day.
Yep.
Getting things done. And this is his last chance trying to convince this kid to not get help. Here comes the kid, comes over here, and they're like, hey, do you have any questions? Thinking they're, parasol customers or something. And this kid's now crying, and he comes over to me, and he's like,
behind him.
He said, that's not my dad. And yes, I'm his dad. He just got up from a nap. He's groggy. He thinks like this when he wakes up from a nap. And we're just like, what the crap? He's like, well, you guys can leave, or you guys can stay here. I'm gonna go. And I'm like, Riley, you stay here with this kid. I'm gonna go follow this guy.
While Benjamin refused to let John out of his sight until police arrived, his employee, Riley Estes, helped the child find his mother.
Stoked. I hope that guy was like, I hope they get a lot of dirt on him. To get that creeper out of here, man.
As the sickening investigation continues, we'll learn that John does, in fact, have a bit of dirt on him, so to speak.
Oh, he does. And I love how the owner of the resort, and they said employee, but I think he actually owns it. He said, get that creeper out of here. I'm telling you, had the popo not shown up, he was getting ready to give him his own brand of justice. And I would like to see a body cam of that.
speak. However, in no way does it compare to his upcoming confession that will stop authorities dead in their tracks. Back at the police vehicle, John tells an officer that he works close by, but authorities could have never guessed the suspect's profession.
Where's your office at? In that building?
The diamond building over there, the 250
Okay.
north or whatever.
What office? What is it?
Where?
Where?
Yeah.
Okay. How long you been there at that office?
A little over a year.
Over a year.
I moved in June
2021?
Yeah.
That's like a month ago. Yeah.
Shockingly, John is telling the truth. He informs the officer that he opened his practice, the law office of John Randolph, in Spokane, Washington back in 2015, although he recently moved to Idaho only 1 year prior to his current encounter with police. According to several reviews, John is held in high regard as an attorney, even winning a Client's Choice Award in 2020. However, there's a side of the lawyer that hasn't made its way into the light just yet, but this will take a drastic turn in just a matter of minutes.
What brought you over here?
I went through a divorce with the wife.
How long were you married?
This time, we've been married before.
What? How long were you married before? Pretty high.
Another officer is a bit suspicious of John and questions him further about his law practice.
Been over in this office here for about a month.
I can show you my office. It's got a swimming pool and like
They're not believing him. Look at him. They're like laughing at him. Now remember, this happened on August 3rd, 2021. That is exactly a week from when Michael Vaughn was abducted. This guy at one time, I don't know if he is now, was friends with Kevin Starkey on Facebook, who is a relative of Carson Starkey, who is the next door neighbor to the Wanderers. It's quite a coincidence.
saltwater swimming pool, jacuzzi, tennis courts, a parking garage. I got a big leather couch and art all over the office and stuff like that.
What do you do for work?
I practice law.
Law?
Yeah.
Right on. What do you like? Civil, criminal? What do
I
you
don't
do?
do criminal much because it's kind of weird, like criminals.
According to his website, John practices personal injury, general litigation, and family law. Ironically, it now looks like he may be the one who needs an attorney, and for a most sickening reason.
So the boy you were following, do you own these boats right here? Do you own any boat?
Yeah. Oh.
You own all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you ask that boy to go on the boats with you? For a boat ride?
To be honest. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
Okay. Why would you ask him to go on a boat with you?
My stepson.
I thought you were saying that it was a girl, though.
I don't remember. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Again, doesn't remember. I'm waiting for him to go, oh, I don't keep up with time when I'm having fun. Doesn't remember. Let's go through all of the suspects in different cases we cover that have memory lapses. Letitia Stout, Megan Boswell, Adam Montgomery, Kayla Montgomery, Candace Wells. Her mother basically flipped the whole script. I'm sure we can think of others. Alicia Adams. Don't remember.
Weird memory about this.
Did you want to go parasailing with them too?
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Well, did you say that?
Probably.
Okay. Why would you ask them to go parasailing with you?
Because it's fun. Like it's this big parachute, you go up into the air, you look down the lake. It's amazing, and there's crystal waters that look like diamonds. And...
Well, that's not your son.
Oh, isn't it? Okay. I'm sorry.
Or daughter.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's not. You don't tell me sorry. That's your fault. You're trying to get a kid to come with you somewhere that is not where his parents are. That's not acceptable here or anywhere. You were guys like talking and calling him Charlie. Do you even have a stepson?
Have you ever been diagnosed with any mental illness?
Yeah.
What were you diagnosed with?
Bipolar.
Bipolar. Take any medications for that?
Not currently.
Not currently. Are you supposed to be taking any medications?
No, my doctor.
Apparently, John is allegedly hiding a rather tumultuous past. A woman who would like to remain anonymous asserts that the suspect is a ticking time bomb. You don't know when he's going to relapse. Just wait until he unveils his most sick and twisted confession.
Do you come down here often?
Yeah.
Do you talk to kids often?
No.
Why today?
It's my birthday.
It's your birthday? Are you attracted to kids? Really?
Well, they're beautiful creatures.
Huh?
Yeah.
What? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm attracted to kids.
You are?
So it's his birthday, and he thought he'd treat himself to a little boy. Today's my birthday. Yeah, I'm attracted to kids. They're beautiful creatures of God. Are you throwing up yet, Trev?
Close to it. Gosh, this guy.
And I'm going to go ahead and cut to the chase. Yes, he's an attorney. I don't think he owned any of those boats, but I could be wrong. And child enticing is what he got charged with. And in some states, it's a felony, but in most states, it gets reduced to a misdemeanor. I don't have the answer for this. The police can do their job all day, but it's the higher ups that seem to drop the ball anymore. Don't you think, Trev?
Yeah.
I can't even find any sort of like no contact order, not just for this child, but any child. Can't be around any child. Disgusting. Disgusting. All I can say is, your vote counts. Voting's important. From the top down, especially locally. I have a feeling when this hit the paper in that nice town, they were like, now do what?
Yeah.
Do what? How the hell is this a misdemeanor? How did he bond out? And in the state of Idaho, like many, many other states, a misdemeanor is not cause to lose a law license. So he's still practicing. What a joke. All right, Brandon, I don't know if you know that guy or not, but I mean, he knows someone that knows your friends, roughly. And I just think it's too much of a coincidence for this to have gone down exactly a week after Michael was abducted. You think I'm reaching too far on that, Trev?
No.
Corey Reeves, where have you been? You old stranger? We haven't seen you around here for a while. You getting in the Christmas spirit, Corey? Okay, Brandon, Adrian, Stacy, and Sarah, if you happen to have internet access in the jail, look at this. And your actions have caused this family to get trashed all over the internet. Your actions. What you have done to Michael and his family. They still have people that won't get off their asses.
Oh, don't touch nothing else with that hand. You can only touch with this hand, okay? Okay. Can you touch one? Touch your pen. Can you feel how hot that is? Stay back in the stove. It doesn't feel hot. Yeah, but it'll get hot. Pick it up. Stay back, stay back. Real homemade cookies. We made real homemade cookies. Can you touch that? Don't touch with the other hand. Aww. So I could grab one. No, we got. You gotta let them rest. Aww, I gotta let the cookies rest. Yeah, because it's hot. Okay. I'm gonna put two of those on, so. Okay. Can you put two of those? Put your glove on. Okay. Got your glove? You want me to carry it, and we'll put them on the cooling pan? Yeah, cooling pan. What's a cooling pan? Or the cooling rack? Yeah, get down. Okay. Now go.
Got your glove?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you touch the other?
No, don't touch the cookies. We touch the pan.
Oh.
Put that glove on. Don't touch anything else. Don't. No. There you go. All right. Look at you. Okay, we'll set it up here. Okay. We'll take our glove off and let that cool for a few minutes, okay?
No, I gotta keep my glove on so I can grab the homemade cookie. Okay?
Okay.
I need the other one on too.
You have 2 gloves. You ta-da-da. Look, I made real cookies.
If that isn't heartbreaking, I don't know what is. You must not have an ounce of goodness in your body to see these videos, these pictures of Michael, and not do the right thing. There's got to be some good in you somewhere. So why not do one good thing in your life, even though it's probably going to wind you up in jail for a very long time? Why not? Call it giving yourself a gift of a good night's sleep. Give this family a break, please. Because, I mean, honestly, until someone is charged and the gavel goes down, there are some people that are not going to leave this family alone. And that in itself is just horrible. All right, let's talk about the trip down to Snyder, Texas to supposedly rescue the dog. Now, in these cases, sometimes people are like ghosts on the internet, not really big on social media, probably because they use the dark web. But Sarah and Stacy left a lot of digital footprints. And when I say digital footprints, I mean like the T-Rex footprint in Jurassic Park. Those type of footprints, big footprints. So let's start with this. Okay, the day before Michael was abducted, we know that Stacy said that he was really worried about Sarah. He took her to the ER in Ontario, Oregon. She's not feeling good at all. She's having a lot of pain in her side of her stomach. Please be praying for my baby that she feels much better. Now, normally abdominal pain is a good night in the hospital. They're going to do a CAT scan. They have a lot going on. But the next day, she was running all over the place. She was in Kuna. She was in Nampa, back to Fruitland, eating Popeyes, sitting outside waiting on Adrian to get done at the Applebee's. So, did this really happen? Did this really happen? Oop. Hang on, we've got Brandy backstage. You've got your camera on. You want it? Okay, there you go. Welcome, Brandy.
Good morning, everybody.
You don't have to have your camera on unless you just want to. It's up to you.
No, I look awful.
No, that's not what I meant at all.
Thank you. I'm fighting with my kitty cat. One of my kitty cats.
Oh, sounds like the story of my life. What kind of cat do you have?
She's just a mix. She's a mutt. And then we have a Silver Point Siamese. He's my shower stealer and my couch stealer. And then his name is Pigeon.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, we have a cat named Pigeon.
Well, I'm going through some of their digital footprints that they left, in different areas of the internet. This one, the day before Michael was abducted. And I still think it's very coincidental that this guy who knows Kevin Starkey tried to abduct a child a week after Michael went missing.
I did not know that there was any connection there whatsoever. But I remember this. I remember that. I remember being absolutely sick to my stomach, thinking, it's so close to home. And it's not so close, but just it's here. and I remember this. It just kind of, you know,
And the connection to Kevin Starkey could be innocent enough as he accepted a Facebook request, or he at
right.
one time represented him, you know, for a slip and fall at the Dollar General or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it could be something that simple.
God, he gave me the heebie-jeebies though, just watching that, just with the body cam footage from the police. Ugh, gross. I,
He looks,
I, I,
he looks like Brandon.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted to be that guy that was standing there with his hands on his hips.
Oh, like I said, if the police weren't there, I have a feeling he was getting ready to whip the tar out of him.
Well, that's Idaho for you.
That's okay.
Oh
I
yeah,
would.
flip flops and all. He was going to put him in the water.
Oh yeah, and I'd be thankful for that, honestly. Don't come after me, world, but I think it's right.
Oh, I'd give him a round of applause.
Me too. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning. Yeah, I don't drink, but his next round would be on me. That's it.
Yes, sir.
So we have the ER visit on the 26th. Now, we know what happened on the 27th. Michael was abducted, and we know there are 4 suspects. This is according to law enforcement, not my own personal investigation. We have to go with the facts.
Right.
On the 28th, Sarah posted this to TikTok.
I think it's infoliated.
There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Babe, what did you say?
I feel exfoliated.
Exfoliating is exfoliating your skin.
Oh, well, I feel infoliated then.
There's no such thing as infoliated.
There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Then on August 1st, Stacy changed his profile picture to Michael's.
Which I don't. That picture, that particular picture, I don't understand. Like everyone around the Treasure Valley, even my own family, you know, asked my permission to change their profile pictures. And there, there were other people across the country and everything like that that would excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm fighting a cold. Is it okay with you and Tyler to have our profile picture for Michael? I have no idea who in the hell this is. And of course there's people that I don't know that have done that, but this picture specifically makes it brought questions to my mind. A lot. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's always been weird to me. I mean, I post about all different cases, but I would never change my profile unless I had like in my picture I'm holding a flyer, or like if I put a
Right.
picture up that says missing. But I wouldn't just put my picture as just the child's face. If people don't know about the case, they have no idea what that means. Like, it doesn't even say missing or a flyer or anything.
Yeah, I agree, Trevor. Yeah, it just, in that specific picture, I still have questions on, which have, excuse me, I've gone over with law enforcement about even more, suspicious attributes to these people in Michael's abduction.
Well, and as I mentioned, there is a connection between, and like I said, it could just be very innocent, just added as a Facebook friend. They were in a group together. The attorney in Coeur d'Alene could have been represented one of the Starkeys at one time. I don't know. But Kevin Starkey, who is, from what I'm told, is the brother of Carson Starkey, who doesn't know anything about the case or about the Wanderers, except he knows where the Vaughns live. He knows where Brandy works. He did mechanic work for the Wanderers, bought a car from them, did taxi for them, loaned them a truck the day that Michael was abducted, was supposed to check on their house while the parents were on vacation, got a call from Stacy in jail. Okay, so Carson's brother, Kevin, has Michael's picture as his profile picture. And these are people that have they have some pretty shady pasts.
Yeah, at least with that pic, at least in my opinion, it's less creepy making that than the other one, because that one's one that's used all around and it has his name. Like, it's not just a picture. Like, it shows that there's something to it. People will kind of know that it's not just, but just making the child the picture without any information, no flyer or anything, is just so odd to me.
I agree. And that picture with Michael's name, Michael Monkey Vaughn all the way around it and everything, that is used a lot. And it is a lot of people's profile pictures. And I did give permission for that, but I don't know who that is. I mean, and it is the internet, I understand that. But that one particular picture, it doesn't make sense to me. Why would you have that? That's a personal, like, family picture. That's something you would get off my Facebook. I know it was shared by someone that was close to our family at the time that took that picture, but no connection to our family.
No, and law enforcement made that clear.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it came through clear as a bell to me. They said there's no connection to the family. But, we're not going to worry about the people that say law enforcement's wrong and they've done their own work, because I don't see law enforcement saying, hey, come on up, we're going to deputize you and we're going to need you to solve this case because you seem to be right on it. Doesn't work that way.
I'm sure they could use a few extra hands, fill out a job application.
Not the ones I'm thinking of. Okay, so on the 1st of August, Stacy Wander updated his profile picture to that of Michael. On the 3rd of August, there was another attempted child kidnapping in Coeur d'Alene. Now, how far is Coeur d'Alene from Fruitland?
Hours.
Okay.
It's a ways, but it's still in the same state. Uh-oh.
Then Stacy and Sarah decide to go out and treat themselves to a hamburger with 2 knives. Okay, that's on the 12th. They make sure to let everybody know that they're at this restaurant. Do you recognize this restaurant?
Not off the top of my head. Ugh, I just can't even look at them. But I'm trying to look at the pictures in the back. And I'm trying to remember, because a lot of places still stick knives in their burgers. At least just one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where that is.
Oh, hell, Stacy may not know how to use a fork or a spoon. He might eat everything with knives. I don't know. And I'm gonna get it. People are gonna say I'm body shaming, but this is a snack for these two.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? This is a snack for them. This is 2 bites for them. This won't take long.
That's like a meal for 4 days for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's leftovers for me right there.
Yeah.
Put that in the to-go box.
Yep.
Okay, so that's on the 12th of August. Now we get to the 18th of August. Hey, everyone. Here we go again. Please be praying for my baby, Sarah. She is very sick in the hospital in Fruitland. She's asking for everyone to pray for her that she gets better. We need this beautiful girl healed in the name of Jesus. Now, she was just in the hospital supposedly on July 26th. So the next day she's eating Popeyes, waiting on Adrian, went to Kuna, went to Nampa, back to Fruitland, got milk. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And this is after being, horrible abdomen pain the day before. Okay, so now we have another ER visit, but he said she's in the hospital. All right, now we're going to fast forward it to October. This is October 5th of 2021. Sarah is getting very, very paranoid. She is in Snyder, Texas, with Stacy, supposedly rescuing a dog. She says, Facebook is stalking my location to send me ads. I don't live in Texas, but I am here near Snyder, and it just gave me an ad for Snyder, Texas. And then she's got the avatar that's all concerned. This is not a big deal unless you don't want Facebook to know where you're at.
Right. That makes sense. Like everybody knows that if you mention something or talk about something or look up something on your phone, you're gonna get ads and stuff. Like I get ads, when I'm on YouTube, for here in Idaho.
Sure.
So, and it's just, it's where I live. So it's why would you, like, obviously you've been a part of social media, your posts. What's going on here? Why are you freaking out?
This tripped her out, and we know that they do the taxi runs. They even go down to Vegas with their taxi runs. She never posted anything about Facebook or Google stalking her location, only when she got near Snyder, Texas.
Yeah.
She gets very paranoid. All the other trips she's been on, she never said, Facebook is stalking my location. It's given me ads for Nampa. It's given me ads for Kuna. It's given me ads for Ontario, Oregon. It's given me ads for Las Vegas. It's given me ads for Salt Lake City. But on this particular day, she says, Facebook is stalking my location to send me ads. Just saying. I don't live in Texas, but I am here near Snyder, and it just gave me an ad for Snyder. Now, I remember during the press conference, which had to have been one of the hardest days of your life, Brandy, when one of the reporters asked Chief Huff, Snow's boyfriend in her mind, she said, do you know about this trip they made? And he was very short with her and said, we're very well aware, and we're aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then she posts this. This is on October 6th. Jesus lives and wants you to turn to him. He's coming soon. Don't miss his grace. So she put that on TikTok. And it's nighttime, and I don't know why they're on a muddy road. I don't know.
You're in the middle of nowhere. You're not out camping. You're not out. What are you doing?
Yeah, you're supposed
What
to
the
go
hell
there,
are you
rescue
doing?
the dog, and get back home. Do you have any thoughts on this, Trevor?
Yeah, the whole location thing is so weird to me because most people, like you said, why would you mind? And secondly, it'd make more sense that you get ads where you are. Could you imagine being in like Tennessee and getting ads for California? I can't. I'm probably not gonna go all the way to California for a burger. But Sarah also strikes me as the kind of person to turn on location services on her phone and then wonder why her phone has her location. So,
I think she's actually very well aware of how it works because they've done the taxi business. She's been in many, many different locations. I just find it odd that on this day, unless it's the first time she noticed it, I see where you're going, Trev. Maybe she never noticed it before. And suddenly she's tripping out about it. I don't know. I think there's a little something more to it.
well, I think it also could be a matter of her being hyper vigilant because now she's got to watch her back because of what she's done or is a part of. You're not, people with nothing to hide nothing. And so if she, was not involved in anything, she's got no reason to watch her back. I'm not looking around worried if police are looking at me because I didn't do anything. But somebody like her has major concern for people knowing her location, where she is, what she's doing, things she said, things she's done.
Right. I mean, I'll joke and laugh because if I mention, a certain topic or something like that, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, my phone's watching me or listening to me. and it's more funny to me because I'm like, oh, the big kahunas are watching me or whatever. No, it's the power of suggestion and your phone. You look up something or you talk about something, it records it. But I've never been paranoid or worried about it. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Excuse me.
No,
I'm
you're
just like,
making perfect sense. And she wasn't paranoid or worried about it until after July 27th of 2021.
right.
They were just
Exactly.
around Fruitland, so nothing was really bothering her because obviously she's getting suggestions. It's an advertising ploy to get you to go eat somewhere, see a movie, buy something. That's what it is. So when she starts getting ads for Snyder, Texas, she's like, "Oh shit, they know where I'm at." She was never concerned about this before July 27th. Then she goes into her meltdown about getting stuck in the mud. How they got stuck in the mud, I'll never know. How important was this dog that they supposedly had to go rescue? I can't even get into that one right now.
God just got me through the craziest situation ever. I got stuck in the mud in Texas. I don't even live in Texas, okay? I'm only down here to rescue a dog. And
Liar.
then I had a
Look at her eyes.
She's such an idiot. She is lying. I've had many. That dog that they're talking about. They call a pit bull. For one, is not a pit bull, and they already had that dog.
Yep.
So why Snyder, Texas, and why did they go there?
Agreed. Why in the hell are you getting so upset about being stuck in the mud? You live in Idaho, honey. You've grown up in Idaho. You grew up around mud. You should be able to get yourself out of the mud, and it shouldn't be a life-ending, breaking moment in
That's what I was going to say. Why is she crying over mud? Like
Yeah,
she's
no.
crying like she just like had every one of her possessions stolen, her house burned down or something. She got stuck
Yeah.
in mud. Obviously, she got out because she's not sitting here on the video in mud. So I mean, life went on.
What's good? Yeah, exactly. What's going on?
This is a very unusual trip. For one, where'd they get the money? Because we've been in and out of the hospital, so how much taxi running has been going on? We go to Snyder, Texas, where Donkey Dick broke, so we don't have any money to get down there. We have a meltdown about getting stuck in the mud, and the day before we have a meltdown about Facebook knowing her location. What were these two up to? That's one hell of a drug run to go all the way to Snyder, Texas from Fruitland.
I think stops along the way will be just as telling as why they were in Texas. But that's just my opinion.
Agreed.
You are
really.
right.
I got stuck in the mud in Texas. I don't even live in Texas, okay? I'm only down here to rescue a dog. And then I had a really severe attack from the enemy. And God used my husband to get me out of it. And I just want to praise God for what He's done for me. That's all. I just want to praise God for what He's done for me. Thank Him. And I had to tell you guys about it because this time I'm just really dumbfounded, to be honest with you. God can get you out of anything.
She didn't have this type of meltdown when the judge was confronting her with her charges. She was defiant. She was sarcastic. She was rude.
Yep.
She's like, well, I'm not working right now. I am. I know that it's not correct. So she's stuck in the mud and she's having a breakdown. Again, the day before, she was super paranoid about Facebook stalking her location. They're not stalking your location. It's an advertisement. You idiot. You idiot. Okay, so we have stuck in the mud breakdown. Then they make it to Melrose the next day. Melrose, this is their turnaround to come back home, is 211 miles from Snyder. Now we're in Melrose and we have yet another medical emergency. Got to Melrose, New Mexico, and now I believe because of the elevation, Stacy can't breathe and have the ambulance coming to check him out. Please pray. The elevation? What's the elevation got to do with anything?
In New Mexico? From Idaho. From Idaho to Texas to New Mexico, really? Nothing.
I'm not really seeing any elevation in Melrose, New Mexico. I've been through New Mexico many times. Gorgeous state. But it's
Yeah, I
never
lived in
really
New Mexico.
easy.
No, if he had elevation, it came from illegal substances, not the height of the air.
Agreed. And to me, if I'm reaching here right now, because I'm trying to put, still trying to put everything together, days and days and days. Does it sound like they're making points of places of where they are or things that are happening, so they have kind of a record? Does that make sense?
They are, and I'm almost wondering if she's not just a little bit smarter than we're giving her credit for. Because see,
Agreed.
if you really want to look like Miss Fancy Pants and it's spring break and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, you can tag yourself at friggin' Disney World if you want.
I'd
So
like to
did
go
they
to Disney World one day.
Alrighty, girlfriend, let's go. So did they really go to Snyder and Melrose, or is she just tagging? I mean, law
Right.
enforcement's gonna know because they're gonna have everything. So, liar pants on fire. After she says Stacy went to the hospital or went to the ambulance for the elevation problems, she posts, "Hallelujah." This is in the comments. "Hallelujah. God is amazing, awesome in power. He is higher than any other." This guy named Brendan, it's not Brandon, says, "What did they say was the cause?" Sarah, "He just walked out. They didn't tell him."
Bullshit.
What?
Sorry, excuse me.
No, it is bullshit.
Oh, give me a break. You're not going to walk out of a damn hospital and they're not going to tell you what you were in the hospital for, or your diagnosis or diagnoses or anything like that. No, I've worked in enough places around the medical field that I know they're not going to let you just walk out the door all willy-nilly and not tell you, "Oh, yeah, you're just fine, no worries."
Yeah, you can go in with a stubbed toe and you're walking out with like a whole packet of paperwork.
Exactly. Thank you, Trevor.
And you can refuse medical care. You can be like, "All right, enough. I'm going to go. They're still going to
you
give
have to sign papers for that too, don't you?
Yeah, and they're going to tell you against our advice, you're leaving. And they want to make sure you sign something so you don't go home, fall down in the floor dead, and a family member sues the hospital. It doesn't work that way. Everything in this country is about law and insurance companies and a few other things. So here's this guy. What did they say was the cause? Now, this guy doesn't seem over concerned. I think he's already calling bullshit because he knows them. Here comes Sarah. He just walked out. They didn't tell him. He goes, "It should be in his discharge papers if he was in the ER. Hopefully it was nothing too serious." She said, "He didn't get papers because he signed against medical advice form and left." What? They're still going to tell you what's wrong with you, and this is the reason that you need to be here. So you can see old Brandon down here, not the Brandon, another Brandon, says, I see. Boy, I can see what you're saying. You might as well have just said, bullshit, Sarah.
Yeah, agreed. Like, you see what? What do you,
And why is Wife of the Year here asking for prayers for him because she thinks he's so sick? He's got something big going on. And then is good with him just leaving. You got breathing issues. Well, we'll just get out of here. We'll just drive home. You can't have both. You can't be super concerned for him and just take him home with you. One or the other.
And where did the ambulance get him from? Can she not drive him to the hospital? Were they on the side of the road? Melrose is 3 hours from Snyder. It wasn't time to lay down for the night and go to sleep. So why, in this 3-hour trip, and the elevation is not going to make him sick, why would an ambulance need to come get him? Why pull to the side of the road and say, hey, even though it's not bad elevation, you're having trouble breathing, so I'm just going to sit here and wait on the ambulance. I'm going to follow them. Why not just drive him to the hospital? She knows how to use the phone and put in hospital near me.
Facts. Like, why did you have to call the ambulance? What was going on so particularly, and where were you? Like, were you on the side of the road? Were you at a hotel?
That's what I was about to say. Is that
house?
makes me think that they weren't driving, that they were somewhere in Melrose, and this occurred, and then she called instead of just driving.
I just don't understand the 3 hours. It's 3 hours from Snyder to Melrose. So why would you drive 3 hours and shut down for the night? Why would you drive 3 hours and get a hotel? I don't understand.
Well, me, I've driven many places across the country over my lifetime, and well, unless you got kids with you, you know, you could probably get a good 6-7 hours in, and then yeah, you're done. Kids want out, and then you're finding a hotel room. But 3 hours, that's nothing. That's a day trip. That's us going out to the mountains or going rock hounding or something, or going prospecting.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd take that much in a day. Like, that's a weekend. That's a Saturday trip.
Yeah, that's nothing. So why did that all of a sudden?
Because when they were in Snyder, Texas, that's when she did the TikTok about getting stuck in the mud. Look at that again. Then they make it 3 hours down the road.
God just got me through the craziest situation ever. I got stuck in the mud in Texas. I don't even live in Texas, okay? I'm only down here to rescue a dog. And then I had a really severe attack from the enemy. And God used my husband to get me out of it. And I just want to praise God for what He's done for me.
Did she just say she used her husband to get her out of it?
Now, again, I'm not fat shaming. I'm not body shaming. If their car is seriously stuck in the mud, she took a picture of the road they supposedly got stuck on. Do you see this guy pushing them out of the mud?
I think it's infoliated. There is now, because I just made that shit up. Babe, what did you say? I feel exfoliated. Exfoliating is exfoliating your skin. Oh, well, I feel infoliated then. There's no such thing as infoliated. There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Explain that road to me. Where were you going, and why were you driving on that kind of road? Because that kind of road looks like a farm road, just like here in Idaho. Why would you be driving on that road? Where you were going to rescue a dog, right? So tell me why you were driving down that dirt road.
She stopped, too. Look at her. She stopped.
Because she said they were stuck in the mud.
They're just chilling out there.
This looks like a dirt road to me, but it's not very light, and I don't,
Yeah, well, we know pictures can be deceiving, but still, it looks like a farm road to me, to be honest with you.
It looks like
Why
a
are
farm
you
road to
driving?
me, too.
Yeah, why are you driving down a farm road when you're going to rescue a dog? Were you right where you were supposed to be getting the dog? Or is that a bunch of malarkey? I'd use nastier words, but I'm being polite this morning.
Look at you. My goodness. I feel like I'm talking to Eleanor Roosevelt up here. I'm not going to. Now,
Told
what
you I
are
haven't slept much.
So I don't know. I don't even think this is not saying they don't have dirt roads in Texas. Something else is going on here. And I'm not going to be surprised when it all comes out if this trip to Melrose never happened.
Yeah, all this sacrilegious stuff is such garbage.
I mean, nothing surprises me. So then we start really going off the deep end. This is November 2nd of 2021. Watch out. You are walking into traps. Guard your children. Take it from me. I promise. Now, she's
This
never.
I can't let go. This really, really, really bothers me still. And it's still bothering me, and it's until I don't understand. Take it from me. Take it from you. You don't have children, and the one child you do have, you gave up for adoption.
And then wanted Brandon to give you another one.
Exactly. So take it from you. You promise. You promise. When I promise something, and it is, I promise. Like, no, there's no. You can ask my children. You can ask my family. You can ask law enforcement. If I promise, that's it. Like, so that's my word.
This is one of the only things she's ever said that I actually believe her. Watch out. You are walking into traps. Guard your children. Take it from me. I promise.
Oh, I'm gonna throw
Yeah,
up.
what traps are those, Sarah? A family trying to walk to the park, or a child trying to play outside in his own yard? Is that the traps they're walking into, or are you the trap they're walking into?
Bingo. That's what Truth to Light said as well. She said, it sounds more like a threat to me. Right on, Trev.
I mean, I've worked with kids for years. I can tell you, we definitely had protocol, and we had people to watch out for and things like that. Never worried about public schools. I was worried a lot more about child abductors than public schools. So it's real rich coming from a suspect in a child abduction to try to tell us what to be worried about with kids.
You bet. Then not long after that, she posts this picture trying to show us, I guess that's her wedding ring. What's going on between her fingers? Now, I do not believe that is from not bathing. Are we sticking needles into those areas? I don't know.
Wow. I mean, my hands are rough and tough, and we know, I need to be wrapped in a bubble suit. But something's not right.
Yeah, you're about to be Bubble Girl. Have you ever seen that movie, Bubble Boy?
Yes, I am. My hand's healing. It's a little bit better. It's not. I iced it last night, so I'm doing okay. But that's gross. I don't know what that is, and I'm
kind of looks like the hand of another couple we spoke about earlier in the week, and this guy's hand was all jacked up, and he is a known user.
Well, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they're working with certain chemicals with those kind of things, that's what's going to happen if it gets on you. I wonder what the other side of her hand looks like.
Right.
I want to know what she was going to sit there and do that Uncle Rico pose and show off that hand. Angel said looks like sores to me. Me too. Go ahead, Brandy. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. No, I just if it was like chemicals or she was, cleaning, so to speak, or whatever, it would be more on the tops of her hands, not just between those joints. That's very, very suspicious and telling, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, if it's chemicals, I'm thinking it's from not good substances, not a bottle of Clorox.
Agreed. Ew, gross.
And, she made that the focal point of her post. She's not talking about the hand, but she has it up there. I don't know if she's letting people know that she has substances, that if you have a needle handy, you can come and get from her, or she's saying she needs more. I don't know.
It makes my hands itch just even looking at that. Like wash your hands. What's going on there? Why? Ew. I know some people have, skin issues and stuff like that. I do. But not in those specific spots. And those specific spots are very known for, not shaming, but addicts, in my opinion.
Tara said, I just zoomed in. Definitely some type of fungal.
Oh,
Angel P said, odd location. I don't know. I think it's damn gross. And I can't figure out what the hell's going on there or why she would post it. But again, she's been losing her grip on reality for a while. I do not believe she's crazy and should not face prosecution when it's ready. We don't want to rush, what law enforcement's doing. Not that I have that power. But any of the
Are you sure? I thought you called a grand jury. Can you not call another one?
They only allow me one a week. This isn't the week. It's Christmas
No.
week. Sorry.
There. Beginning of the year. We're counting on you. Throw a few grand juries out. Just spread them out across the country, wherever you want to put them.
I'm getting back on grand juries next week. I'm not going to let Andrew Hiltz down since he's held me to such high standards. No.
Well, Idaho better be on your top of the list. I'm just saying.
Oh, that would be my very first grand jury. Not Andrew's silly ass. Anybody that knows me, they kind of understand the priority schedule around here, and Andrew Hiltz is not on it. Okay, so suspects. Pay attention. Again, we're just a few days from Christmas, and this is what you have allegedly done. Back to what Brandy has said on this show many times. How dare you? How could you? Now, we saw Sarah's meltdown. She was extremely paranoid when Facebook had her location and was sending her ads. This is from Jonathan Lee Riches. He had a lot of conversations with Brandon and other people. Somebody else got very antsy, and that is Brandon and Brandon's boss, Brandon's mama. Listen to this exchange between the two of them. I'm going to pause it and go through it because I know you guys have had a lot to say about this before.
And let law enforcement know and whatnot. And I really appreciate the tips that you people have been sending me. Shirtlift's boss sent me an email yesterday, right? Shirtlift's boss sent me an email yesterday, and I'm going to tell you without getting into really specific details because I want to keep this conversation between me and the boss. But he has no problem with me sharing this information, right? Because then it led me to Shirtlift, right? Because he saw Shirtlift's boss saw the video that I posted on my timeline about the pizza guy, right? The Domino's pizza. Shirtlift is with the Wanderers. He has a Domino's pizza hat. I made a video. We all know the day Michael was reported missing that Tyler went in the back room and he called Domino's Pizza. He called Domino's Pizza in that time frame and whatnot. So I just thought that was crazy because
It is crazy, JLR. And yes, Brandon did work at Domino's. Driver at Domino's Pizza. Now, I don't think it's uncommon for anyone, especially people with children, to order up some Domino's Pizza. As we know, Domino's Pizza was ordered July 27th, 2021. Again, we saw Sarah's breakdown about getting stuck in the mud and Facebook giving her ads for Snyder, Texas. She kept saying, I don't live here. I don't live here. Well, you got to eat when you're out of town, do you not? Of course that stuff's going to come on.
You know they do.
I do. You think they're going to miss a meal? I mean, shit, look at this. I wouldn't know where to begin with that. I'd have to eat the bun first, cheese and meat. I couldn't get into that. Goodness.
Sarah Wander's arrested and she's with a guy with a Domino's pizza hat, right? So I posted that video and said, hey, who is this Shirtlift guy? I posted some mugshots of him. He does have a criminal past. Who is he, right? So I get an email. I get an email from a gentleman in Montana, a gentleman in Livingston, Montana, coincidentally where Stacy Wander, Sarah's husband, used to live in Livingston, Belgrade, Montana, both those areas, whatever. So the boss said, and I'll share some of this information. He sent me an email. He said, my name is, and I have known Brandon Shirtlift since 2010. Haven't seen him since 2015. And recently asked to move here and work for my company. We do certain work and I needed some help.
Okay, let's look at, again, time is very important. Time's important, period. But in these cases, it's very relevant. Okay, he hasn't talked to Brandon since 2015. Brandon lives in Fruitland. Brandon is supposedly doing taxi runs. That would be his employment. And he's a driver for Domino's. But now he's reaching out to this man in Montana saying, can I come back and work for you? I guess nobody needed a ride or a pizza in Fruitland, correct? And I've talked to people around Fruitland. They are not even aware of this taxi business. They have never seen a Faith taxi because they would have some kind of magnet or something on the side of their door, you would think. I'm not saying
I live here and I've never heard of Faith Taxi. I know of one taxi service. What do you think, Dad? The white taxi in Ontario? The one taxi in Ontario, the white taxi? That's the only taxi that we know in this area. The old limo service? But you've never heard of Faith Taxi, have you? Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet my clean money that Faith Taxi is just a front for some dirty money.
I agree.
Me
I
too.
agree, Trevor.
Tara says the same thing. Tara says exactly. It's all a front.
Yeah.
It's like all the just like the oil change business, which they called a lube business, just like the laundry business. All of this was a pre-plan for something. All right, so now Brandon wants to get to Montana and go work for a dude who really can't stand him. I don't know about you guys, But when an employer hates my ass, no matter how downtrodden I get, I don't really like to call people and say, hey, can I come work for you? You made my life hell once before. Can we do it again?
Had no idea about any of this stuff until 2 weeks ago. He has now left, and I have been watching this on YouTube and 7 News, and I'm mind blown at some of the stuff I've seen and heard him say in the 3 recent months he was working for me. I want to help. Maybe some stuff is nothing, but maybe can help in some kind of way. Thanks for what you do. And I responded back to him, hello, what do you mean he left? He responds, said he was headed to his dad's house in North Dakota. Ever since the detective has talked to him, he became more erratic and always pacing and never focusing on his job at work. And I said probably he'd be good idea to, this handwriting's a little bit bad here, due to the fact that some comments that were made while I was questioning whether he was involved in any of it, I wanted him out of my place. I've been watching news clips from YouTube and the internet, and I spoke with the detective while Brandon was here, and me and him and his family and his roommate have just been on edge. Something didn't seem right about him. The more like he was having a breakdown.
All right, so now Brandon's having a breakdown. We already saw stuck in the mud Stacy and, well, Sarah having a breakdown. Supposedly Stacy, the elevation got to his little tummy. And he had to go to the hospital. Now Brandon is having some kind of a breakdown. And the boss also mentions to JLR that it's not just Brandon that's beside himself. It's his family and friends as well.
Why?
Why?
Tell me why. Why are you freaking out so bad? What was going on so horrible in your life at that point in time that you were, did somebody pass? Did a family member get hurt? Like those are things in my mind that would be triggering to me to cause a meltdown. My son missing my whole life, crashing before my eyes. There's a meltdown. So please tell me what was so wrong that was going on in your life and your family that you all were having the same meltdown. Please explain that, Brandon. I'm curious. I would really like to know. Please.
Well, let's face it, when it's any other child except for your own, you see it on the news, you see it on the internet. Of course, you're concerned, particularly if it's in your area, but you're not going to have a breakdown unless the FBI comes to your house and says, what do you know?
Right.
How do you know these people? What were you doing there? We have you on camera.
There's reasons for that. Just saying, Brandon, there's reasons, then that's my opinion. What do you think, Trevor? I mean, am I reaching here?
No, not at all. Most people, when a child goes missing, will ask, how can we help the child? But they seem to be asking, how can they help themselves? And I think there's a huge reason towards that, because they have to protect themselves because of what they've done and what they know.
I agree. Thank you.
Absolutely, Trev. Slim said, why is Brandon's roommate having a meltdown too? Who's the roommate? I'm taking it that it's the former roommates. Because, see, he's in Montana now. By this time, I have a feeling that he knows that the police are getting real close. Carson Starkey, don't think he didn't tell his neighbors when the cold case cops, as he said, the cold case detectives came to talk to him. They weren't asking if he needs his yard sprayed. They were there asking about Michael. All of these people know each other. I'm thinking he's talking about Sarah, Adrian, if he's in contact with him, because somebody he's roomies with in Montana, I think it'd be like, yeah, dude, you better get a lawyer. I got to get to work. Just my opinion.
I could talk to you about things he said, and he's always was crazy. And now since he's like Bundy, man, he's a psychopath and effing crazy, just like the stranger I remember from years ago.
All right, so he'd already had run-ins with Brandon. This is his boss saying he's like a Bundy. He's a psychopath. He's like the crazy guy I remember from years ago. I guess the boss thought he grew out of the crazy and he'd let him come back and work for him. Well, he didn't grow out of the crazy because he said he's like a Bundy. He's a psychopath. How does that feel, Tina, that your son is a suspect in the abduction of Michael Vaughan and his boss is saying he's like a Bundy? He's a psychopath. And he's been that way for years. He's known him since 2010. How does that feel, Tina?
Okay, so I'll share that for now. A worker hadn't seen Brandon Shirtlift in years. And then just recently in the summer, at the end of the summer, Shirtlift contacted him and said, I need a job. Can I work for you? And this employer said, sure, you can work for me, right? So he's working in Livingston, Montana. Shirtlift is in Livingston, Montana for the last 4 or 5 months. He said 2 weeks ago, detectives came up there to speak to Shirtlift about the Vaughn case, So then after
about the Vaughn case, it's not about petty shoplifting around Fruitland. Hey, did you steal any pizza sauce when you're at Domino's? Did you give back that pizza bag? FBI doesn't do shit like that. They don't care. They made a trip up to Montana, and it's quite a jaunt, to talk to Brandon about the Vaughn case. That's when he started tripping out. Now, I'm not saying that a visit from the FBI would warm anybody's toes. You wouldn't be like, sure, glad you're here. But if you're not guilty of anything, you're going to go one of two ways. You're going to answer their questions and they're going to be on their way, or you're going to get a lawyer.
Yeah. And the FBI showing up, there's always a reason. Not everyone that gets talked to by the FBI obviously is involved, but there's a reason they're coming to talk to you, whether you're somebody that they see as a high level, like RSOs in these type of cases. They'll go talk to all of them, people like that. Or they've identified you as a person of interest in some way, or there's some link to you. That's why they go talk to you. They don't just go door to door questioning the whole country on the disappearance of a child. It doesn't work that way.
Wish it did, but it doesn't. But they went specifically to Brandon. They knew where he was working, and they asked him about the Michael Vaughn case.
There's a reason for that, Brandon.
Go ahead, Brandy.
There's a reason for that, Brandon, and you know it. And you know why they came to talk to you. And you need to speak. Hear my voice. I'm telling you now, there is a reason they came to speak to you. They, left Idaho and came and found you in Montana, North Dakota, to speak with you. You need to speak.
They were there to speak to you.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason. There is a reason.
And you know the reason. You know the reason, and that's the reason you flipped out. Here's a reminder of the reason, Brandon, and a reason why you had a psychopath breakdown.
Monkey.
He's talking to his shadow. He's fighting with his shadow. Daddy had just worked a 14-hour shift. We had snow up to our ears. He was working for a company at that time. They were out.
Michael's showing that shadow who's in charge.
Yeah.
So this is my house.
Baby. Yep.
Oh my gosh. You know, kids don't really care how long mom and dad have been working that day. If they want to play, they're going to play. It's the sweetest thing.
He said Shirtlift was acting all crazy and everything like that and said, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And
all right. So Brandon, FBI comes to see you and you go crazy. You tell your boss, even though you're there to work, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. Oh, is that because the men in black came to see you? Is that why? Is that why? Is that what freaked you out? I bet it did. Someone who knows they had nothing to do with what they were there asking them about would have answered questions truthfully because you have nothing to hide, but you freaked out. Your former boss told you to get the hell out of there. He didn't want you there anymore. He said, you're like a Bundy. He said, you are a psychopath. And you were having a breakdown when the FBI came to his job site to talk to you. Came to his job site. Now, I wonder why they came to the job site, Brandon.
It makes me wonder as well, why would you be so worried if you have no involvement? And why would they come all the way to see you to talk to you if you have no involvement? Make that make sense, Brandon.
Mm-hmm. I think anybody's blood pressure would go up quite a bit if the FBI's at their door or came to their job site. But after answering their questions and you say, if I think of anything else, I'll let you know. That should be the end of it. But no, there was a press conference with your picture, Brandon, saying time's running out for you to cooperate. That time is coming to an end. You might want to do some research about things like proffer agreements, plea agreements, unless you can't do that. Unless you know they would never give you a plea. You're saying you're hiding out because of some petty pot charge, but you were already in Idaho. That's why you're hiding out. Well, supposedly you've been working. You're telling me Tina won't pay it for you? You're her baby boy. You're telling me Tina won't pay those measly fines for you. Hell, by now, $5 a month, it would have been taken care of. So you're telling me that your parents, you're soaking it up in your daddy's hot tub. They won't pay that? They're hiding you out, knowing you're a suspect in an abduction. I don't think it's the fine that's a problem. No, I do not.
And he left and he went up to his father's house in North Dakota. So I vetted all this information. It is, in fact, true. And I will explain why, because I reached out to Brandon. I I have a conversation with here on Facebook Messenger with Brandon. And this is where the bombshell information comes out. This is where Brandon shares all kinds of stuff about that day Michael Vaughn went missing. You need to listen to this, please, because it's very, very important. And I pass this information over to law enforcement because sometimes these people, whether they're witnesses, suspects, persons of interest or whatnot, they might not talk to the authorities, but they might talk to regular citizens about things, right? So, I did my due diligence and after the conversation, I documented it and I handed it over to authorities, the proper thing to do. Whether authorities already know about him, they obviously do. You wouldn't just travel all the way up. What Livingston to Fruitland is 9 hours, by the way, because Stacy Wander used to live in that area and I did the Google Maps. So you don't just travel 9 hours away to talk to somebody unless there's something big, right? Something big about the situation, right? So Brandon just breaks down to me, right? Brandon breaks down to me. I'm going to share here. I'm going to show you real quick his profile, so you guys know I spoke to him. This is Brandon. He goes by this alt here, Brando Johnny shirt lift thing. You click on his profile. Let's click on his profile and just show you his profile. I'm going to show you his profile. It's coming up. Here we go. So this is him. This is Shirtlift's profile. This is Shirtlift. That is Shirtlift. There's his friends list. Here, y'all can see it. There is the URL to his thing. So you know that this is a real conversation that I had with him. And I'm going to read this conversation, right? I'm going to read this. This is important, right? So I flat out just said, dude, we need to talk. Where is Michael Vaughn? Are you involved? Yes or no? Respectfully, Jonathan Riches. He responds, or someone on his account responds, but I'm assuming it's him. No, I had never met that kid before. That's what he responds. No, I have never met that kid before. So then I respond to him. Did detectives speak with you? He responds, yes. I said, when? He goes, last week, I believe. I said, who did it? Did Sarah do it? Stacy? Why did detectives come see you? This is a 6-year-old boy. And I put it all in capitalization, capital letters. I don't believe either one of those guys would have done it either. I know it was their neighbor. I know it was their neighbor. That is all. He goes, I know it was their neighbor. That is all. So he goes, I don't believe either one of those two guys did it. I know it was their neighbor. That's all. So he says that Stacy and Sarah didn't do it, but he knows it is a neighbor. That's what coming from Shirtlift. I said, which neighbor? Please help me. Then he says the boy's parents.
He's getting himself tripped up with this conversation with Jonathan. And as opposed to just hitting block and not talking to Jonathan, he has to try to convince something. You know, this is where I do actually love social media, because for some reason, suspects or alleged suspects in cases, they seem to have it in their mind that if they can convince social media they did nothing wrong, then it's going to be easy peasy with the judge and jury. Doesn't work that way, because on the other side, they have what's called evidence. Now, you have plenty of evidence, Brandon, but all you can do is sum it up with this and that, this and that. So he won't really talk about Sarah, Stacy, or Adrian. You know why? Because he's directly involved with them. He's directly involved with them.
I couldn't agree more on that statement, Brooks. 100%.
So he's going to skate around the flop house. So we're blaming it on Michael's parents. Then he has to go back on that. I thought it was, but no. And then we're down to Carson, who I think was going to be the goon for the day. Carson is the registered RSO. Carson is involved with them one way or another. Exactly how deep, I don't know. Carson is talking to detectives. There was nothing found in Carson's backyard. Not saying Carson is salt of the earth. They made sure to get Carson's truck after Michael was abducted, because they want to make sure Carson's truck is seen driving around that neighborhood. This is why he will not talk about Sarah, Stacy, and Adrian, because he knows he was with them.
And that's where I was like, what? I said, you think the boy's parents did it? And then he responds, at first I did, but found out they didn't know where he went either. So I don't understand that. First, he's pointing fingers to the parents, and then he's saying, I thought he did it. He thought he did at first. And then he said, he doesn't know. So I said, so who did it? Were you the pizza driver working there that day? He said, I don't know. I think someone stole him from over by his neighborhood. That's what he says. I don't know. I think someone stole him from over by his neighborhood. I said, how do you know the Wanderers? And then he responds back to my question, were you the pizza delivery driver that day? No, I just drove taxis for the Wanderers when they were somewhat sensible. That's what he said to me. I just drove taxis for the Wanderers when they were somewhat sensible.
Now, we spoke on the Ruby Frankie show yesterday. It didn't take long for Ruby to flip on Jody. Didn't take long for Kayla Montgomery to flip on Adam. Why can't Adrian and Brandon flip on the Wanderers if they are the ones that abducted Michael Vaughn?
Exactly. And it doesn't make any sense. You were here. You were here that night, allegedly. You are totally disassociating anything from being here. So make that make sense, Brandon. Make it make sense.
Anything you want to add to that, Trev?
I agree. And you're talking about coming forward against the others. It's all going to come down to what part they play in it. I mean, it seems like they're all involved to what extent is unknown. You know, who kidnapped him versus this, versus that. I mean, I'm not getting into everything, but you know, when they go look at charging, that's what it comes down to. And so, if one person had less direct involvement, then it's probably best for them that they start speaking, because if not, the person with the involvement is going to get all the charges and then roll on you. So,
well, and let's talk about that. And Brandy, if you need to get out, this is going to get a little deep, because I'm going to have to go a direction that you probably don't want to hear.
I'll just stay muted, though.
Okay. So you have 4 suspects. The only charge related to Michael, which was dismissed without prejudice, meaning that they can pick it up anytime, is for Sarah. And that was for not calling the coroner relating to Michael Vaughn's death. Okay, when there's a death, it's got especially with a child, is it illness, accident, or the big M? So the grand jury is going to have to figure out where each of the players fit into this. Now, just being in the house, they could threaten someone with a first-degree murder charge if they want. Doesn't mean it's going to stick. So, who's the abductor? Who's the enticer? If he truly is deceased, who is responsible for that horrible act? If Stacy was home all day and they just show up with Michael, Stacy's charge could be just not telling him, which is a stiff crime. Don't get me wrong. Am I making sense, Trev?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was hinting at before, is that it's going to come down to direct involvement versus indirect versus what part you played. Because, yes, they blanket these situations with charges of the crime, but they stick on people differently. You can't stick a first-degree charge on someone as easy, like that was partially involved, as you can with someone who did it. But you could throw it at both of them, or with abduction or whatever it may be. You can't. You could throw it all over the wall, but it's only going to stick in certain places.
100%. And I go back to what the DA said, or the prosecutor. I don't know. Actually, the district attorney is the one that gave the interview that said, this is a very complex case. The complexities of this case are why, they're still having to decide. Well, yeah, you've got to prove who did what out of these 4 imbeciles, and possibly more. It's not like Huff hasn't said, and other people that are associated with the Wanderers, with Adrian, and with Brandon could also, at some point, be facing charges.
I said, anything helps, dude. I'm told you went to North Dakota. He then responds, I first met Stacy during furniture moving jobs. I said, did you work for Domino's Pizza? He goes, yes, I did for a year or so.
Now, hang on. Did I hear that wrong? Now we've already heard that Stacy busted his nuts, and not in a good way, riding bareback bulls. I don't think that happened. Now he got hooked up with Stacy in a furniture moving business. Again, I'm not body shaming. Stacy does not look like he has the athleticism or health to do a lot of things.
Well, before he was released, I know he was over 450 pounds. And not shaming, I'm just saying that it takes a toll on the body. I mean, I'm small and I can move some stuff, but I'm sorry, I don't see Stacy doing that efficiently for very long. To be honest, just to be honest, like I said, not shaming. I just it doesn't make sense to me.
I agree with Sarah Lockhart. I think they have a lot of code words between them.
I could agree on that.
Moving furniture means one thing. Lube job means one thing. The laundry service means one thing. The taxi rides mean one thing. I would like to know how Carson, even though he lives next door, I mean, I've got neighbors, but I don't do any odd jobs for him. Exactly what did this taxi run entail? And I agree with Leah. I would love to hear his true conversation between Carson and Stacy when he called from the jail. Going to pick up a dog in Snyder, Texas that doesn't exist. These are all code words.
And then he responds to me about going to North Dakota. He says, yeah, to see family for the holidays. Thank you, Beverly Harris. I appreciate that. God bless you. So then he says, I know Carson wouldn't do something like that. He is supposed to be fixing my car, man. So now he's saying that Carson didn't do anything about it or didn't do anything with this. And he's fixing his car. I said, where were you the day Michael went missing?
For someone that doesn't know anything, Carson's name comes up a lot, and Carson knows a lot. Timothy, welcome back. Welcome back. Law enforcement are between a rock and a hard place, in my opinion. They need to take their time, but at the same time, I believe these suspects will start squealing soon as the reality of charges kick in. Thank you for the comment of the day. Not that everyone's comment is genius. Yeah. The justice system has different levels to it. It's not all about the police. You know, they're on the scavenger hunt. They're the ones that get the evidence. You have to convince a jury of your peers. You got to piece it together. I couldn't agree more with that comment.
Yeah, I thank you for that comment. I agree. And law enforcement, they're working their asses off. Excuse my mouth, sorry, Brooks. But
cuss away, girlfriend. We're all big people.
Thank you, Timothy. And I hope they do. And I want them to. They need to. And the more pressure that's put on them is warranted. And it's helping law enforcement. Y'all need to start talking. Stacy, Adrian, Brandon, Sarah, I know where you are, but if you have access to any of this, I'm speaking to all of you and whoever else is involved as well.
Well, in totally different case, totally different state, but the disappearance and alleged murder of Harmony Montgomery, they arrested Kayla on welfare fraud and then got her again on perjury. She's guilty of both of them, don't get me wrong. Many times detectives went to her and said, you can get out of here. We can make all this go away. If you tell us what you know about Adam. They had enough put together to know that Adam was the one that done it. Don't be surprised if they are not doing the best they can to talk to Sarah as much as they can and say, hey, look, we're not concerned about these charges. Not a big deal in my book. So you need to tell us what you know about that house. You can tell I watch a lot of forensic files. That's how it goes down in my world.
He said, I went to tow my car with Stacy and Sarah that day. And earlier that day, Sarah took me to lunch. So the day Michael Vaughn was missing,
more lies because he said he towed his car the day before. And now he's saying Stacy and Sarah took him to tow his car. Did you catch that, Trev?
Yeah.
Brandon Shirtlift, that guy in the car, for all you people jumping on, is claiming that on the day Michael Vaughn went missing, he was with Stacy and Sarah to tow his car. And Sarah took him to lunch. That's what he's saying. I said, was Sarah in the hospital around that time or leaving the hospital? He responds, I remember her saying she was going to go there with Stacy one day. I said, what about the evening time? Where were you all? He said, right when we came back towing my car behind their pickup, everyone was out there looking for the missing boy. And then he says, and then Sarah and I went out to look in her car once we got back to their house. So he's claiming that around the time Michael went missing, the first time they started searching, he's saying he is arriving back to that neighborhood with his car being towed by the Wanderers.
Go ahead, Brandy.
What pickup? I thought that pickup was sold before Michael's abduction. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But what pickup? They had the Escalade. They had the blue, no, four-door car. Can't remember right now. But
Well,
what pickup?
We have a list of cars.
Well, that's true. Yes.
I mean, we have a laundry list of cars. I just can't figure out what car.
Wasn't the pick? Didn't he sell the pickup before Michael was abducted?
Well, that's what I thought too. Do we know what car? I know Carson said, but I can't remember off the top of my head. What car did Dorothy Starkey buy from the Wanderers?
That one I don't remember. But it wasn't a truck. Or was it the truck? Oh, for hell's sakes.
I know they're making sure to keep this as confusing as possible. But I know she's writing everything down right now.
Here's pickup truck. And then he and Sarah went out to look in the car once they got back to their house, once they got back to the Wanderers. Then I respond, do you know the Vaughns? He said, I personally never met them in my life before. I only seen their picture on the YouTube video. I respond, this is a missing kid, dude. He goes, yes, I understand that. It's not good at all. And then I said, know anyone you think could have done this? He responds to me, not that I think of, because they only had a few people around when I was there. And I said, you know, Sarah was arrested. Police say others could be involved. If you are involved, please tell the truth. The first person that cooperates gets the best deal. You could be home one day, possibly. Do what's right. He responds, I know Sarah was arrested lately, yes. And also another kid that could be involved or no more possibly. So he said, I know Sarah was arrested and also another kid that could be involved and or no more possibly. I said, who is the other kid? What's that person's name? He responds to me, Cesar or something. Cesar or something.
And Cesar definitely was with them. Definitely was with them. He is also charged with lewd acts with a child.
I said, really? Cesar Garudo? He goes, yeah, I believe so. They arrested him too. I said, anyone else they questioned? He goes, I don't think so. I said, have you ever met Cesar? And he said, yes, I met him one day when I was with Stacy one day. And
when I was with Stacy one day, you were sleeping in the back of the Escalade while Sarah was driving. You know him well. You know Caesar well.
You know, I wanted to see if he was lying to me because obviously there's a photo of him, those four in a car together just a few months before Michael Vaughn went missing. They were in a car together, right? I said, the day Michael went missing, I said, who is Adrian? No, because that he drove over to some place he was staying, I believe. Adrian was a friend of Stacy and Sarah, had over for about a week. So he's claiming Adrian is a guy that was friends with Stacy and Sarah that was over at that house for a week. I said, what's his last name? He goes, I don't recall if he ever told me. I said, is he black or white? He said black. And I asked that because I've narrowed down who Adrian could be, and it just validates who I think Adrian is, right? So I asked him, is he black or white? He said black. I said, he seemed pretty chill with me the whole time he was there. So then I show him a profile picture of a guy, right? And I'm going to show you this to you right now. So we're talking about he seemed pretty chill. Then I say, this guy. And then he goes, I don't think that's him. That guy looks different. So then I send him additional photos. I said, this guy. He goes, the yellow shirt guy looks like him. Then I sent him a mugshot. I said, him? Yeah, it kind of looks like him from there. So he's validating that the guy is Adrian Hernandez, who is in jail, by the way. Adrian Hernandez, you can look him.
Well, it's actually Adrian Lucian. Again, Brandon knows exactly who was around July 27th, 2021. He knows. But he's going to deflect and deflect and deflect. What do we say in these cases when people are blaming everybody except for the ones that they know are involved? Of course, including themselves. That goes without saying. Said, well, I thought the parents did it. Well, he knows that's not true, or the FBI wouldn't have come to see his ass. But he's not going to say anything about Sarah, Stacy, or he's like, yeah, that might be Adrian. Yeah, that kind of looks like him. Oh, yeah, that's him. But we're back on Carson.
Come up. He's in jail for drug charges in that area right now. He's in jail, right? I said, did police take anything from you? He goes, no. I said, did you work at the Fruitland or Domino's, Ontario Domino's? Did you work at the Fruitland or Ontario Domino's? He goes, Fruitland. I said.
So we know that Brandon was a Domino's delivery driver for Fruitland, Idaho. Mark my words, the powers that be have all of his records. When he clocked in, when he clocked out, what deliveries he had to make, what time he got back. I don't think he was delivering pizza that day, but I think he had been around enough to know where children live. You know, who's playing on this street? Who's playing on that street?
Well, especially because, you know, with our work schedules and everything. What do you say, Dad? We order pizza at least once a week, especially from Dom. Yeah, at least once a week. Because I love to cook, but not, you know, 24/7. Just yeah.
And people order pizza. People order out. Yeah, they do. And I think about how Carson said he knows exactly where you live. And then he stumbled on that and said, oh, I have a friend that lives behind him. Well, you know your neighbors. I think Brandon, who has brought Carson up several times, I think he told him. Because he's all around that neighborhood and others delivering pizza. I think that's more deflection.
I know you must be scared right now. I get it. Police are all over there looking for who did it. He goes, yeah, it's a very crazy, scary ordeal. So he's admitting that it's a crazy, scary ordeal. I said, did you stay with the Wanderers the night Michael went missing? He responds, yes. He responds, he was there the night Michael went missing. I said, who else was there? When did you leave? He goes, me, Stacy, Sarah, and that was all, I believe. And I think I left the next day. I said, dude, seriously, if you are involved, go clean with the police immediately. It will be so much better for you. First person to make the deal gets the best deal. People are going to spend the rest of their lives in prison for this. He goes, I didn't do anything to a kid, especially one I've never met. I said, they do not like kid murderers in prison. He goes, I'm sure they don't. I said, where could Michael be? I said, this is national news now. And he goes, and I hope if anyone did do anything to this kid, they go to hell forever and DIE. That's what he says in all caps.
And again, he's distancing himself from Michael Vaughn. That kid. That's what he said in another interview with JLR. The kid, that kid, he knows his name. I hope they go to hell and DIE. You genius, Brandon. If you're in hell, you're dead as a hammer. I hope they go to hell and DIE. He also mentioned he could never do anything to a kid he'd never met. So only the ones you know are in harm's way? Make that make sense. It doesn't.
I said, does your family know what's going on? He goes, yes. I said, why was Adrian staying there? He goes, to go visit his girlfriend and baby, I believe. I said, and then he just went ghost. He just went ghost last night. This was a conversation back and forth. I was trying to get more questions out of him. You know, I wanted to know about how did you meet the Wanderers? I sent him, I said, the day Michael went missing, did police bring dogs to the Wanderers' house? He never responded. So then I sent him a message this morning. More information is coming out, Brandon. Please come clean. Your mother, Tina, loves you. And then he goes, like what? And yes, sir, I know. I'm pretty sure if I met you in real life, we would probably get along. So he's like, if you met me in real life, we'd probably get along. No. I love her, and I am worried that these lying, sick people are going to be putting me and my mother in the middle of all this. She never even hung out with those sorry people.
Do what, Brandon? I like how he wants to be buds with JLR.
I will give it to JLR for reaching out. And yes, I was very frustrated and upset at the time because of everything that was going on. But it was very informative what JLR did. And helpful to law enforcement as well. So, Brandon, you gonna keep talking? It's time. Way past
Brandon,
time.
if you want to be friends with JLR that bad, I bet he'd be friends with you today. Because Jonathan is right. Sometimes they don't want to have candid conversations with the police for many reasons. But they'll talk to someone who, is, Jonathan, and they'll just start talking. And he did. And so did Carson. Now, I wouldn't say that it put everything together, but it definitely got law enforcement going in the right direction.
Definitely helped for sure. So much appreciation, JLR, for that. But Brandon, very telling, very telling. Why don't you take the link? Come talk to me. I dare you. You know where Michael is. You have information about Michael, and you're not talking, and it is beyond time. Please don't let Michael's siblings, our family, spend another Christmas without knowing where he is.
100%. Christmas is Monday.
Mm-hmm.
You've had ample opportunity to tell the police everything you know. You can bring an attorney to the interrogation. Hell, Fine Art on Fire said he'll pay his fines and get him down to Idaho. He lives a state over. He's like, I'll go pick him up. I'll take him down there. I'll pay his fines and he can talk to him.
I'll do the same. I'll come get you. I'll come get you. I'll pay your fines. I'll bring you back to Idaho. Tell law enforcement, please. Tell us where Michael is. I'll figure out a way. I'll work 3 damn jobs. I don't care. Tell me where my son is. It's time, Brandon. You know. Stop your shenanigans and your BS. And please help us bring Michael home.
She's not going to stop asking Brandon, Adrian, Stacy. She's not going to quit pleading for her son. We have 521 people in here. You think that people won't all throw in a $5 to get your ass down to Idaho to pay your fines and do the right thing? Get real. Sandy said, Brandon, this is your chance to be a man. Right there, Lisa Wilson said, Brandy, you won't have to work any jobs. I/we will pay. There you go, Brandon. There you go. You don't have to worry about the fines anymore. Woo! Snow said she'll even put in 50 cents more. Look at that, Brandy. Does Brandon have any excuse? Doesn't sound like it to me. But even though Carson is not what I would call a salt of the earth person, I do believe that between a couple of them, the 4 of them, maybe 3 of them, they were trying to set Carson up after the abduction. This is Carson's SOR offender profile. Okay? This is Carson Starkey. You can see where he lives, which would be next door to the Wanderers. His offenses are SA 3rd degree, attempt, use child display, sexually explicit conduct. These were in 2003. I don't know how old the child is. Don't care how old the child is because we're talking about a child. So they keep bringing up Carson's name. Carson. Then you have Carson saying, I don't really know him. I just go to work and I come home. I don't pay attention to what goes on around here. Except I know exactly where the Vaughns live. I know exactly where Brandy works. I did some taxi runs for him. I helped work on the cars. Oh yeah, my wife bought a car from him. They wanted me to watch over their house when they were out of town or whatever. Stacy called me from the Pokey. And he's on social media and isn't supposed to be. Disgusting. And again, here we are coming up on the holidays. This family has spent birthdays, Easters, Halloween, 4th of July, Christmas, you name it. And Easter's Monkey's favorite. Without their son. And you shit your pants when the FBI shows up. If you were any kind of man, you'd be like, glad you guys are here. I need to tell you what was going on. But you're not a man. You won't be a man until you tell them what you know.
You're being a coward. Why would you continue to run if you have no involvement? You have no knowledge. Why? Explain that to me. If you're innocent, wouldn't you be hands wide open? You, Adrian, Sarah, Stacy, and whoever else may be involved. You know. And you're spineless cowards. And you're going to continue to let our other children suffer, not knowing where their brother is, not knowing me and Tyler and Grandpa and his grandmas and extended family and people that have become family. You're going to continue to be a spineless coward. You're just scum. You're jelly. You have nothing to you, do you? And you have children. All of you have children. How in the hell could you sit there and not say a damn word? How freaking dare you? You best pray law enforcement gets to you before I do.
Now that's a fate I wouldn't tempt, Brandon. Now I see why you shit your pants and ran to North Dakota. And again, who are you and Adrian, who's an athlete? Are you really scared of these two? Are you scared of Scabby Hands and Bowie Bear? Are you really scared of them? Or are you scared for the accountability that you will be facing in what you did? The question is why?
Please. Why? Why Michael? Why our son? Why did you decide that day that you could destroy a family? And then we're not destroyed. We're heartbroken. We're torn apart. But we're together. And we're going to bring Michael home. Brandon, Adrian, Stacy, Sarah, and anybody else that knows, we will bring Michael home. So own up to your actions, what you've done. Speak.
Because they're going to figure it out.
Yep, no matter what.
They're going to figure out everything that went on that day, leading up to and following after. You're talking about 4 suspects, possibly more, because there's 2 or 3 that I would think that probably get charged in this, unless they're handing out proffer agreements. I don't know.
I'm not sure on that. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to stop.
Mm-mm.
Our family, Michael's army, is never going to stop. And we're going to put you on blast every chance we get to. You need to speak. Just please, please let us know where Michael is. That's all I'm asking. All I want is Monkey home.
Indy said, sounds like a Brandy promise to me. Oh, she
I don't
means
break
it.
my promises.
Oh, she means it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brandy, I want to say thank you so much for coming up.
Love you much, love. I'm gonna get a little bit of rest before the buggy monster wakes up.
Okay, get some rest. And, thank you for being so strong, never giving up, always advocating for your son, always advocating for your family, and never stopping. Even when people want to throw you down the road or kick you, you just come right back. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like Timothy said, Brandy Strong. Light up the chat, please, before we go.
Well, Brooks, thank you, and everybody, thank you so much, and thank you. Please continue sharing Michael's beautiful face. These suspects need to talk, and they are suspects.
Yes, they are.
I love you very much, Brooks, and thank you to everyone that's here. So very much. Let's get Michael home. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and if I don't see all of you, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Okay?
You too, love. Such an amazing woman, amazing family. They're doing everything that law enforcement, they talk to them pretty much every day. Every day. And out of those 4, or all 4, somebody could end this nightmare for them today. They could give them answers. But instead, they want to drag it out and drag it out and drag it out. Mod Squad, thank you so much for being here, keeping everything cool, light, answering questions when people ask, because sometimes I don't see all the questions. I appreciate that very much. I want to say thank you to all of you for being here. As always, you guys are great advocates for victims and great friends. So, depending on how I'm feeling, because right now I feel like warmed over shit, we will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We're going to talk about inconsistencies in the Summer Wells case, and we have 2 guests on. So, but if I am feeling worse, then I won't be doing it. Knowing me, because I'm a tough old bird, you'll just hear me sneezing, coughing, and sniffling the whole time. So you guys are the best. Have a great rest of your Thursday. If I don't see you in Discord or one of the Facebook groups, then I will see you back here tomorrow. Thank you again.